What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our team building episode for the 4th week of the SBL. I will tell you the battle has already happened. I already know the result. You'll see the battle probably the day after, or this goes up, or actually I might just, I'm just gonna edit this into the front of it because I already had the battle. I didn't get a chance to record it live so it will be a post-com battle, and I apologize for that ahead of time because I do like doing live commentated Wi-Fi. I don't like the rushness of post-com, but it will be post-com. It was an amazing battle. It's just some of the sets I brought this week didn't pan out as well as I hoped. But regardless, I will be going over the sets that I brought in an attempt to explain to you the reasoning why I brought what I brought this week in the way that I brought it, and hopefully that leads to a better understanding, and hopefully this is a lesson learned if this league continues, because it does seem like the support has fallen off on this league, personally. But yeah, it's personally, it seems like it's kind of dying out. The SBL is dying out, it seems, which kind of sucks because it's been a fun league. It's been very challenging at times. It's been very easy at times. So I kind of hope it doesn't die out on me, but whatever. So I'm pulling up my opponent this week's team. Team up. This week we faced the creator of the league, Carlos David Fermin Gonzalez, and the Dominican Blasters. And his team is Mega Charizard X, Latios, Chansey, Landorus Therian, Conkeldurr, Gengar, and Clefable. Now, you see a lot of common threats here. The Chansey is a big deal with the Eviolite. That's a huge threat. Absolutely massive threat. Landorus Therian is always a threat. Mega Charizard X, if it gets a Dragon Dance up, that's a problem. Gengar is always an issue. And Clefable is just way too bulky for its own good. But I have my 3DS up in front of me. I have my phone out here with the sets on it and everything. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to explain, what went down this week. But first mon we brought, obviously we brought Thickums. We brought Thickums, the Mega Venusaur, as we always do. Because in this league, if you don't bring your Mega, you're wrong. You guys understand that he has a Venusaurite. This week, we switched up his moveset ever so slightly. Not too much, but kind of slightly. We mixed it up a bit, where we decided to run. We kept Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb. This week we were running Hidden Power, Ground, and Knockoff. Now the reasoning for some of these is let me throw the HP spread in there. Why do I feel like that's not right? 228. 252. 20 to speed. Modest nature, and the 4 goes into Spadef. That's I'm pretty sure that's exactly the spread we run on Mega Venusaur. It's pretty much the exact spread I have always had. But we have 4 remaining. What the fuck? Where are we putting that 4? Actually, let me edit this. Showdown's weird sometimes when it comes to stuff like this. Pretty sure I have my spread right. I'm not sure though. Could be just because the EVs are a little weird right now. I actually made it. Wait a minute. Let me. It's probably 232, but I think I'm running. Excuse me. I apologize for that. I didn't mute it. Ah, damn it. What the hell IV spread did I run on this thing? I had 31 that. I'm not sure what it was off the top of my head, but it was roughly around this set. It was something like this. This approximate variant. Hidden Power Ground specifically I brought for the Charizard X because I figured the Charizard X would think he could switch in on me. That way I can get off a decent amount of damage with a modest Hidden Power Ground on that thing on switch ins, which would be really nice. Knockoff I brought for the Chansey, so I could potentially knock off an Eviolite. Also for the Latios, because knockoff would do a decent amount of damage to the Latios and the Gengar as well. Even with modest and no attack EVs, it does put in a decent amount of work. So that was definitely a lot of thought process into that one. The next mon I want to discuss is Slurpuff. Slurpuff was brought again this week. Literally the same exact set, just kind of hoping that I can get it off, but it just didn't. It didn't happen this week. I'll tell you. That'll be my spoiler for you this week. We tried. I tried. I tried to get it in safely, and it just wasn't happening. So that's a thing, but it's whatever. Slurpuff is one of those mons that it has to come in perfectly, or it's not going to work. Basically, it has to come in perfectly, or it's not going to work at all. But the plan here was hopefully to get a belly drum off, pop my citrus, and then honestly, I really straight up just destroyed his whole team. Play Rough destroyed 99% of his team, and Drain Punch is there again for the Chansey. Even with the Eviolite, it has a chance. It doesn't have a chance to OHKO, but it would be a 2-hit KO, and at that point, it does so much damage that I'm at full health, and then the Chansey can't do anything to me in return. So I would pretty much have been guaranteed to take the Chansey out, and the rest of his team just kind of gets destroyed, except the Clefable, which I was really worried about because of the Unaware, but we would have handled that with another mon on the team. So Slurp Nasty was here. Slurp Nasty was here. Didn't do much, but Slurp Nasty was there. Next mon we had was, I'm typing in their nicknames. That's dumb. Heatran I brought this week with an air balloon. Festus the Heatran I brought again this week, running Fire Blast, Flash, Cannon, Hidden Power Ice, and Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse is there for the Latios, which I live any hit from, and the Charizard X again, as barring an Earthquake, I live anything that the Charizard X throws at me. So a Dragon Pulse would hit really hard. The spread we run max special attack, the modest nature, and max HP. I think the remaining 4 went into special defense. Really weird set. I was actually kind of I'm actually kind of looking at this preparation now, like looking at this thought process. I'm not really feeling it as much as I was when I did it. But I literally prepared on the fly in like 10 minutes because I was already running late on it. We only had like another day or two to battle, and tonight was the only night I really could have done it. And I want to get out of the way. And when I messaged him asking him when he would be able to be available to battle, he said it in like a half hour. So I literally threw this team together in like half an hour to try and counter his team as best as I could. And the HP Ice is there for the Lando T. If I can catch a Lando T on a switch in against my Heatran, I would have been able to OHKO it no problem with an HP Ice. So, oh, my bad, guys. So yeah, that was kind of what I was going for with that. It didn't pan out, but you know, that's gonna happen. It's whatever. I'm not mad about it. Kind of expected it not to pan out like perfectly, but you know, what can you do? Like I said, you know, you do what you got to do. Especially in a league where you can't have a duplicate item on your Mons. Running Air Balloon was kind of the only thing I really could do. I wanted to run Choice Scarf, but I had that covered somewhere else. Speaking of that, our next Mon is Excadrill with the Choice Scarf. Moveset wise this week, we're running Mold Breaker, of course. Nickname being Gurren for Gurren Lagann. Moveset this week was Iron Head, not Iron Defense, Iron Head. Iron Head, Rock Slide, Earthquake, and Brick Break. Brick Break was there specifically for the Chansey. Again, the Chansey is a huge threat overall with its bulk and its insane bulk. So having the Brick Break there, backed by a max attack Adamant, Choice Scarfed, max attack Adamant, Choice Scarfed, Excadrill was definitely a huge threat. And if it had panned out, if it had worked out that way, it would have been probably about I think it was a 2 or 3 hit KO on the Chansey. So that would have been really nice. Rock Slides for the Charizard, which I was guaranteed to outspeed and do massive damage to. And Earthquake would have done amazing damage to a lot of his team, especially with Mold Breaker. Latios can't dodge it. Gengar can't dodge it. Pretty much the only thing on his team that really stopped Gurren in this match was Lando T, which became a huge factor in this match. But that was Gurren. That was the set we were running on Gurren this week. The next Mon we have is oh wow, this actually like stayed going. Holy shit, that's awesome. Sorry about that, guys. If there's a little break in the video there, if it seems really bad, my computer literally like died. Like my laptop died. I forgot to plug it back in on the charger, so the laptop died. So I apologize for that. There, I might try to edit that out. I'll rewatch the video and see how bad it was. But that was Gurren. The next Mon we had this week was another of my interesting sets. As you know me in these kind of leagues. I like to run really interesting stuff. And the set that I was running, very interesting, was on Slowbro. Slowbro, I was running in a Salt Vest Slowbro. Now, I know what you're thinking. It doesn't have as much power as I would hope. Well, you're right. But we'll talk about that when we get there. I was running Scald, Psyshock, Ice Beam, and Earthquake. I was running a max. I was running max defense with a relaxed nature because we don't need speed, and max HP with the remaining 4 going into special defense. Now, no special attack investments. This Slowbro actually does work. Ice Beam, OHKOs, Landorus, Therian, Psyshock. Pretty sure it OHKOs. If not OHKOs, comes really fucking close. I know it does OHKO. It does OHKO Gengar. which is a huge threat on my team. It eats a Shadow Ball. It does I max like 75% with Shadow Ball, and then Oko's it with Psyshock, which would have been amazing. Scald's also there to hit the Charizard on switch in. Landorus T would have taken a lot from it. Psyshock did decent damage to a Chansey. Ice Beam hurts Latios. Earthquake hurts Charizard. Psyshock hurts Conkeldurr. A lot of really good, like the coverage here is decent. Assault Vest actually isn't terrible on Slowbro because it can eat a lot of hits running an Assault Vest. It just doesn't have the damage output. I have to play around with different spreads to find a good Assault Vest spread for Slowbro. Because it's just not. It just didn't work this week. It just didn't work as well as I hoped. But it's still a fantastic spread. It's still a fantastic spread. Honestly, it actually does put in kind of a lot of work. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it in the future. I don't know. I think it's decent. But there's that. The last mon that we ran this week, last mon we had, which is another one of my interesting sets, was Thundurus. Thundurus this week, Thor here the Thundurus. We ran a fully physical, choice banded Thundurus with Defiant. And I'm gonna get flack for this, but you know, whatever. Superpower, U-turn, Thunder Punch, and Knockoff was the move set I ran on Thundurus this week. Knockoff Oko's Gengar, and I'm pretty sure Oko's Latios as well. U-turn does crazy damage to a lot of his team. Superpower, after the Eviolite was taken care of, Superpower actually takes out straight up Oko's the Chansey and puts in a lot of work on his team, as well as Thunder Punch doing crazy work. I should have run mixed with HP Ice because I see now Landorus T completely walls like my entire team. And obviously, you know, finding this out way too late kind of bit me in the ass. 252 speed, the Jolly Nature with max attack, and the last 4 going into HP. Yeah, so this is our team. That's our team for week 4 in the SBL. This will transition right into the battle, which will be post-commed, which again I apologize for. It just time didn't work with me on this one, so hopefully you guys will enjoy the post-comm battle. Anyway, it was a really good match. You'll really like this match. It was crazy good all throughout. So make sure to leave a like down below if you are a supporter. If you are a supporter of us, of the what do we call it? Of the ultimate powerhouses that are the Memphis Primeapes. If you guys are a supporter of us, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it would be greatly appreciated. As all your support really helps the team out. And here comes the battle. 3, 2, 1. What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you week 4 of the SBL here on the channel. You saw the team building right at the beginning of this video. You know the sets we're bringing this week. Well, we brought this week. We're doing this one post-comm because it just timing and everything didn't work out well for us when the battle had to go down. So, you know, it's what it is. It's what it is. As you can see, he decided to not bring the Clefable, which I'm really glad about because I really didn't prepare for the Clefable all that much. So he brought the Chansey, Conkeldurr, Landorus Therian, Latios, Charizard X, and Gengar. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this match against Carlos. and the Dominican Blasters. I led with my Derp the Slowbro as he goes ahead and leads with his Gengar, and I thought this was a perfect scenario because I could just go for a Psyshock, and I'm guaranteed to live a Shadow Ball and kill this Gengar first turn. But he switches out into the Chansey, and I was pissed off because this thing put in so much work on my team. It's not even funny. As it eats the Psyshock, and I'm just kind of... I don't want to be in here on this thing, so I swap out immediately and go out into Gurren, hoping and planning to do some damage to this thing. Now I'm predicting the Seismic Toss I figured was coming, which I was fine with. I didn't mind taking a Seismic Toss from Gurren. I wasn't too afraid of that. But he decides to switch out into the Landorus this turn, which really was bad for me. He gets the Intimidate off as I decide to predict a switch going for Iron Head, and I find out on this turn that he is defensive Landorus instead of Choice Scarf Landorus, which is really unfortunate for me because defensive Landorus stops my entire team. So I decide then to swap into Thor, producing an Earthquake, as he just predicts that very well and goes for these Stealth Rocks, gets those up. And at this point, I'm feeling like he's playing me like a fucking fiddle. He's playing me like a goddamn fiddle. He's going to swap out, predicting an HP Ice, which is actually a good idea on his part. As I decided to go for the U-turn instead. Choice Banded U-turn actually does a half-decent amount to this Chansey, pretty much almost nothing. But it does alright amount. As I go into Thickums here, Thickums the Mega Venusaur, as I am packing Knockoff, and I don't think he'd be expecting it. So I do Mega Evolve here, and I go right up for the Knockoff. I'm pretty sure I just go straight for the Knockoff. As he does, yeah, I do go for the Knockoff here. Knockoff is Eviolite, which is fantastic for me, because that means he's a lot less bulky than he was. Still very bulky, don't get me wrong. Chansey is a very bulky Mon, but it's not as bulky. As I do go for the Sludge Bomb here, try and get off some more damage. He does go for the Seismic Toss on my Venusaur, get that solid 50 damage off. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, now what? Alright, well then I'm going to swap Thickums out here. Swap Thickums into Derp to hopefully maybe do some damage to this thing. As he goes for another Wish, and I'm just kind of sitting here like, this is just going to take forever, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but this battle was 36 turns. Maybe, yeah, you can see it now. It was 36 turn battle. So you know this was a hell of a match. So he does Toxic my Slowbro, which will come into play later in the match. I go for the Psyshock, and it does virtually nothing. And I'm just kind of in such a bad position right now. As he goes for another Seismic Toss, I just go for another Psyshock. I'm just trying to get damage on this Chansey. I don't like this thing being at such high health. I wanted to get more damage off on it, but I realized this wasn't the way to do it. So I swapped Derp out here because he has a Regenerator, so I want to get more health back on him. And I do bring out... I don't know why I brought out Hephaestus here. I stalled out bringing in the Mon I needed to take care of this thing. I stalled it out way longer than I should have, and I'm really disappointed in myself in how I played this. Sorry about that. I just went straight up for the Fire Blast there to get more damage off on it, which was really stupid because I let him pop my fucking air balloon, and this is what happens when I'm rushed to go into a battle. I rush myself into a battle and prepare for a match like this, like half-assed in like half an hour. This is what happens. But I wanted to get him to Wish at this point, so I could bring in Thor. As Thor handles this thing perfectly now that it doesn't have an Eviolite on it. So the Stealth Rocks dig into me, and the Seismic Toss hits me, and this kind of like really limits my Thundurus now, because Thundurus can't really do too much for the rest of this match because at the low health he's at. I go straight up for the Choice Banded Superpower, which I know for a fact OHKOs, and down goes the Chansey. This is the first kill of the matchup, but I'm now in a poor position because I'm at -1 attack and defense, as he does bring in the Charizard here, and I get really scared. I got really scared because I know now I can't do much to it. And I know it's going to try to set up. So I just go, I'm thinking that it's going to go ahead and just take me out. I go for another superpower just to get as much damage off as I possibly can. Which it gets off a decent amount as I lower my attack and defense more as he goes for a Dragon Dance. I'm just sitting here thinking, oh shit, I'm about to get swept. I am about to get swept. This Charizard X is about to annihilate my whole team. He gets greedy and goes for a second Dragon Dance. At this point, I'm just staying in out of necessity because I pretty much have to. I go for another superpower, and I get a crit. I get a crit, which takes out the Charizard. And at this point, I'm over the moon. He's pissed off. He's like, God damn it, you fucking crit my Charizard. That was perfect. In comes the Landorus. My attack is now so piss poor, it's retarded. The Defiant boost comes up, but it doesn't matter at this point because I literally have nothing to hit this Landorus, and I'm banded into superpower. So I have to switch. As I do go into Derp here, because I know anything that this thing does, I can eat it up. As he goes for the Rock Tomb, which is a very, very interesting play on his part. I was very intrigued by that. And this thing is just recovering itself and getting all this health back, and I'm just not a fan of that. As he does decide to withdraw here, and I'm not probably predicting the Skull, going into Conkeldurr to try and catch a burn. As I am going for the Ice Beam, it reveals the Ice Beam here. I'm really disappointed by that. But Ice Beam does like nothing to this Assault Vest Conkeldurr. And I'm predicting a knockoff. I'm fearing the knockoff, and I have to get out of here. And I go out into Thickums to catch a knockoff because you're not knocking off an item on me, so you're not doing too much damage to me. As he does, in fact, go for the knockoff and hit my Venusaur real hard. I go for the Giga Drain here. I know I outspeed this thing, so I'm going to get a decent amount off with the Giga Drain. I'm glad I went for the Giga Drain instead of going for the knockoff to take care of his Assault Vest because it allowed Venusaur to stay around here for a little bit. Ice Punch does a little bit more than knockoff did, but not too much more. As I do go for the Giga Drain again, as he switches into Gengar here to catch that Giga Drain really and eat it up, which is fine by me. It's fine by me. Thickums has done his job here. There's not really much else Thickums can do in this match. So Gengar is just going to come in here and Shadow Ball my Thickums and take him out. And it's kind of a scary situation because I do need more health on Derp to take this thing out. I need more health on Derp to take this thing out. So I switch him back in, but then swap him right back out to get more Regenerator health back. As I bring in Gurren, and the Gengar is going to go for a Shadow Ball here. And it's going to do crazy, crazy damage to Gurren here. Gurren does live it on 27. And shockingly enough, I guess it wasn't Scarf. I guess it might have been... I don't know what set he was running. But I guess it wasn't Scarfed. Because our Adamant Scarf Excadrill outsped it. And so I don't know. I'll have to calc that later. I don't know if that was a big deal or whatever. But at this point, I just want Gurren to go down. Gurren wasn't really doing anything else for the rest of his team. So I let Gurren go down here, the Earthquake from the Lando. As it's just going to continue to sit here and be annoying. So at this point, I bring Derp in. Expecting to eat any hit that he goes for. I do, in fact, decide to go instead for the Psyshock this time instead of going for the Ice Beam, as the Psyshock does catch the Conkeldurr on the switch in, and down goes the Conkeldurr. So at this point, I was kind of feeling like decent. Because I knew at this point he was down to just the Lando and the Latios. I felt pretty good about it. This turn, I know I can eat a Draco Meteor from this thing. I know I eat the Draco. So he goes for it, and I just swallow it. I swallow it. And just go straight up for an Ice Beam. Knowing the Ice Beam is gonna do some damage to it. The Poison's gonna bring me down really, really low. And I kind of needed to swap out at this point. so I can kind of preserve, because I needed Slowbro to be at decent health to handle the Lando and the Latios together. And predicting him to be choiced and go for another Draco, I switched in Slurpuff because I wanted to get my Belly Drum off here, but he goes for a Psyshock, and I was really, really, really bothered by this. This was the turn that I fucked up. I should have gone for my Belly Drum this turn, instead of just going straight up for a Play Rough. I should have gone Belly Drum. At this point, I would have been at +5. I would have been able to clean up the rest of his team, and that would have been the game. I would have won it, but I second-guessed myself, and instead of going for Belly Drum, expecting him to stay in and just Psyshock and finish me off, instead of going for Belly Drum, I just went for the Play Rough, and it did not pan out for me, as he is going to go for the Earthquake and knock me down to my Citrus now. So I'm pretty much, I'm faster, but I can't do shit to this Landorus. So I played Slurp Nasty really, really bad in this match. And that it was my fault more than the set itself. Getting the Play Rough off on it and lowering its attack a little bit was really, really nice. As I don't believe this this Earthquake does take me out. But having that lowered attack on it is really, really nice. But at the same time, I'm just not in a good place. I'm not in a good position right now. I sent Derp in, and I realized Derp's at a really, really low health. Like, way too low to do anything relevant right now. I didn't calc for lowered attack stat. I should have calced for that. I should have been able to live it and probably get an Ice Beam off on it. Even so, I was predicting him to swap out into Latios here instead of just going straight for the Earthquake. I think he was expecting me to just stay in and kill it, but that didn't happen. And I swapped out into Heatran. I don't know if he predicted that or whatever, but he caught me with the Earthquake, and down goes Heatran, and that pretty much sealed the game there, because all I have left are Thor and Derp, and Knockoff is going to take off the leftovers from the Lando, but Rock Tomb is going to finish off my Thor, which is really, really unfortunate. I played this match poorly. I'm not gonna lie. I played this match really, really poorly. I'm really disappointed in myself. I usually play so much better than this. You guys have seen my matches here on the channel. Like, I play better than this on a regular basis. He goes for the EQ. It does almost nothing to me. I would have lived it if I had stayed in before, and I would have killed it with the Ice Beam before. And then 1v1 Heatran versus 2v1 Heatran and Thundurus versus Latios. That's a win for me. But again, I played really poorly here. I was too focused in my mind on Slowbro than anything else, and I let everything else just die. And then Slowbro dies here to the Draco, and that is the game. So a 1-0 victory for Carlos and the Dominican Blasters this week in the SBL. I don't know. I kind of hope the league does keep going, so I have a chance at redemption, so I can show I'm not as big of a scrub as I looked this week in for future weeks. But what can you do? We all have bad weeks. But if you guys have enjoyed this battle and want to see the Memphis Primeapes come out of this slump in the SBL, please make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, as all of your support is greatly appreciated and helps motivate me to keep doing stuff like this and keep fighting hard for you guys. Memphis Primeapes are now 2-2 in the SBL, and mostly due to poor planning on my part, honestly, but you know, what can you do? Until next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer, signing off.